One of the first exercises we're going to do is we need to get you very comfortable with the throttle and how sensitive it is compared to a car, because you've never ridden a motorcycle before.
All right, we're sitting here with Dima. Here's a kid who started road racing when he was 3 years old, and by the time he was 7, he was on the AMA scene, racing 125s. And
yeah, had a whole team.
By the time he was 10 years old, he'd gone to Europe.
Actually, 48 hours ago, he'd never been on a motorcycle before. That's his story.
Tell us.
He's never ridden.
Tell us your story, Dima. What's going on?
I've never been on a bike before. I've wanted to be on a bike for quite some time, and at some point decided that I want to ride. And a good friend of mine suggested try this out in the safest way I can. So I figured I'm at a point in life where I have a couple of kids, I have a family, and before I go on a track, I want to know how I do this, and really want to improve and learn and start from a place where I would be much more comfortable than I would be otherwise. So I started yesterday, and I've never been on a bike before. So this was 0 to 60 in, I guess, in a day or two, very quickly.
Not much time. So here, you've never been on a motorcycle. We put you through a little pathway in the morning, operating the clutch and getting a feel for the brake, and just literally how to ride the motorcycle. But by the afternoon, what happened in the afternoon? Where did you end up in the afternoon?
Yeah, so the first part of the day was terrific. I found my way around the bike. I figured out what the clutch was and where the brake was, and I guess within 15-20 minutes I was off moving around. Within I think half an hour I was kind of moving from the first to second gear, which you probably don't think is a big deal, but it was actually one of the biggest transitions. I think after an hour or two I was in third gear. And after 4 hours I think I was on racetrack. I wasn't passing anyone, but I was moving around, and I was having a great time. I was having fun. I really enjoyed it, and it was probably the biggest part of the day for me was just enjoying it and have experienced that I can learn in a safe way and be a better rider because of this.
One of the things that we worked with Dima messing in the parking lot almost right away is just how we use the brakes and where we use the brakes. And walk us through now your understanding after 2 days of what we tried to get across to you. How do you view it?
One of the most interesting things about this is that I think I'll be a better driver. I think that you also hear this a lot from even much more experienced riders, where you say, use your brakes more, you'll go faster. So a lot of things, a lot of lessons here, but I think using your brakes, applying them slowly, and just making sure you know how to use them, when to use them. You know, brakes also shortens your curve. I mean, you learn a lot of technical things that I never thought I would learn. I just wanted to get on the bike and figure out how I can move around, but I actually know things.
And we realized that we got you to accelerate because you could use the brakes. Right. We didn't put acceleration first.
It wasn't. Right. I was not outside of my comfort zone.
Exactly.
I think throughout the 2 days, I don't think I've been outside of my comfort zone, which I think from my standpoint is fine. It was a terrific experience. I learned how to ride the bike. I went pretty fast. I mean, it was a very controlled environment, very controlled experience, and I thought I never was at a point where I was losing control. I was never at a point where I thought I felt unsafe. It was just a terrific experience.
It points to how we teach the school and how we want to teach the school. It's a champion school, so we're not going to bring Dima in and go, oh, you're new, okay, do something entirely different than what the best in the world do. We wanted you to do the body position, right, that the best in the world do. Do the brakes the best in the world do. Do what the designer of the bike did. And you see how much better the bike works when you started the move today.
We didn't give you any different technique. It was just a different degree of application for that technique. But it was the same technique, because as your speed came up, that's when those things started to matter on the track. So that's when they come into play.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting, because for me, one of the most difficult things about teaching is this incremental teaching, giving that last moment of advice, a little bit that's going to make the biggest difference. And you have pretty experienced riders coming back and saying this is an amazing experience. And I think even at my level, those small incremental points and inputs that you provided is kind of the little advice I needed that moment to kind of help me, because I am much further along than I thought I would be after 2 days. And so appreciate it. It's a terrific experience.
Well, we're glad you came, and we hope you come back and ride with us.
Thank you so much, Ken.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dima.
Great man.
Thanks, Nick.
Yep.